Task creation in progress. Special condition triggered. Tidal system activated. You have driven away the Moro fleet. They detonated Pluto and Neptune before leaving, causing space-time ripples that were detected by 22 civilizations within a range of 1,000 light-years. Several of these civilizations decided to investigate the solar system. As they're about to arrive, what will you do? Option 1. Leave the solar system alone with your fleet. The resources you've stored are enough to live comfortably for a lifetime. You can earn the title, Lone Wanderer. When the Earth civilization is destroyed, you can gain a large amount of tech points. Option 2. Lead the Earth humans to leave the solar system together, but the resources carried are limited, and some people will starve to death on the way. You can earn the title, Drifter. For every newborn on the spaceship, you can gain extra tech points. Option 3. Stay in the solar system and fight the alien civilizations. Stop killing with killing. Stop war with war. You can earn the title, King of War. Destroying any enemy military unit can gain tech points. You can only choose one of the 3 options. Please make your choice within 24 hours. Note, the creation of the Level 2 task will depend on the choice you make. The destruction of Pluto and Neptune was picked up by civilizations within a 1,000 light-year radius. Zhao Yu was a bit shocked, first noticing this piece of information from the system. Then, he realized the danger. So, the solar system is exposed, and multiple civilizations have sent fleets to come. This news shocked Zhao Yu more than learning that the Moro fleet was coming. This meant that they were targeted by 22 civilizations, including a Level 3 civilization named the Madu. What to choose? Zhao Yu fell silent. None of the 3 options seemed particularly good. He stepped out of the control room and asked Uncle Da, if we take a spaceship to leave the solar system now, how long would it take to reach the nearest star system? The nearest star system is about 4 light-years away, roughly 37,840 billion kilometers. Our spaceship can currently travel 288 million kilometers per day. To reach the nearest star system, it would take 359 years. 359 years. If they were to escape the solar system on a spaceship, it would mean spending the rest of his life in the vast and empty universe. Commander, what happened? Uncle Da asked with some worry. Zhao Yu sighed. As the Moro fleet was leaving, they blew up Pluto and Neptune. The space-time ripples reached 1,000 light-years away and were detected by 22 civilizations of Level 1 or above. Now, they've discovered us and are sending fleets towards the solar system. What? Uncle Da was shocked. What should we do? Immediately after, he asked, Commander, when can we develop the same technology as the Moro fleet to traverse wormholes? Zhao Yu suddenly lit up with a glimmer of hope. I'll check it out now. Having said this, he returned to the control room. After searching for a while, Zhao Yu's heart sank once again. The technology needed to traverse wormholes has multiple preconditions, including the manipulation of Type 2 particle black holes and raising at least 3 basic sciences to a level above 2.33. In addition, multiple secondary technology research institutes need to be upgraded. The total required tech points exceeded 80,000. The problem was, he now had no way to trade with Earth to get tech points. Even if he could trade, he wouldn't be able to get 80,000 tech points in a short time. Because the tech points spent on basic sciences and technology research institutes can't be realized, it meant that he would have to invest at least 30,000 tech points. Should one escape? Zhao Yu sat in the control room, pondering which of the 3 options to choose. Option 1. Running away alone meant abandoning the Earth civilization, and all humans on Earth would die. Their civilization would also disappear. It would leave him alone. For the rest of his life, he would spend it on the spaceship, until death. Option 2. Escaping with all humans on a spaceship meant they would spend at least 359 years on the spaceship. While he was alive, it would be okay as he could control all the spaceships himself, preventing any chaos. But after his death, power would be released. Whether humans could survive for 359 years or not remained a mystery. Moreover, if the enemy arrived at the solar system, they could easily detect their movement, lock their trajectory, and by then, they could use a wormhole to get to the target star system ahead of time, setting a trap. Thus, Option 2 would mean that human civilization could only survive for a maximum of 359 years. As for option 3, defending the solar system, there might be a chance of failure, but it did offer a glimmer of hope for success. Level 3 civilization. If there was no level 3 civilization, Zhao Yu would most likely choose option 3 because he had experience in defeating level 2 civilizations. But now, their base had just reached level 2, and to upgrade to level 3, they needed 190,000 tech points. Can the laser defense system stop a level 3 civilization? Zhao Yu let out a long sigh, feeling the likelihood was slim. Level 3 civilization must have mastered more advanced energy transformation methods. This meant their weapons might be beyond imagination, not something a mere laser defense system could stop. Leaning against the wall, Zhao Yu seriously contemplated the meaning of his life and what death really represented. Do I fear death? Yes. Zhao Yu admitted it quite straightforwardly. Most people fear death. The most common way to combat this fear is simple: passing on their genes to their offspring. Allowing their genes to continue in another way helps to alleviate some fear of death. The thought of all information about him being wiped out after his death gave Zhao Yu a deep shudder in his soul. Suddenly, he felt an impulse to procreate wildly, to continue his bloodline. The meaning of life is that I don't want to die. And I don't want to die in fear when facing death in the future. From the bottom of his heart, Zhao Yu ruled out option 1. The only options to consider were 2 and 3. Option 2, it would be great while I'm alive. The only problem is whether my descendants could survive until the 360th year. If not, the bloodline would be cut off, meaning that all traces of his existence in this world, in this universe, would be completely erased. Trust in the wisdom of future generations? Zhao Yu shook his head with a bitter smile. I have the system, and I am helpless. What can future generations do? Future generations would only blame their ancestors for thinking about themselves, leaving them to suffer for no reason. Especially the last generation of humans, who might have to witness the destruction and end of human civilization. The thought of such pain scared Zhao Yu. Option 1. One can live to a natural death, but human civilization will be extinct within a year. Option 2. I can live to a natural death, but human civilization will be wiped out 359 years later. Option 3. We might all die on the battlefield, but human civilization has a slight chance of survival. What a difficult choice. Today is a good day. Humming a tune, Colonel Chu was packing his belongings. Starting from today, he was about to leave the Moon Combat Command Center. Knock, knock, knock. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. When Colonel Chu opened it, he was surprised to see Zhao Yu, with a trace of worry on his face. His heart skipped a beat, wondering if something had gone wrong. There is no need to pack up. Zhao Yu glanced at the packed luggage in the room and shook his head. Colonel Chu immediately asked, Has the Moro fleet returned? No, it's worse than that. Zhao Yu sighed. The Moro fleet has destroyed Pluto and Neptune. The ripples in space and time have spread out for 1,000 light years. In this range, there are 22 civilizations that are above level 1. They now know that there is intelligent life in our solar system and will send fleets to check it out soon. What? Colonel Chu was taken aback and quickly asked for more details. Zhao Yu briefly explained the situation, then said, It would be okay if they were all level 1 civilizations, but among them, 1 is a level 3 civilization and 8 are level 2 civilizations. I want to know your thoughts. What is the technological level of a level 3 civilization, and what kind of weapons do they have? I don't know. Zhao Yu shook his head. If he knew, he could make decisions himself and wouldn't need to come here. Colonel Chu, thinking, carefully asked, Could the Panga civilization possibly help? Zhao Yu shook his head. No, they're too far away. They can only provide some technical support, but there are certain limitations. They can't send us technology of a level 3 civilization. He knew very well that there was no Panga civilization. It was a cover story he made up to conceal the existence of the system. Colonel Chu pondered for a moment, then asked, I remember you mentioning that the Moro people escaped through a wormhole in their mothership. Do we have the ability to travel through wormholes now? Not yet. Zhao Yu spread his hands. If we had a little more time, we might be able to get the technology to travel through wormholes, but not now. Colonel Chu put down the items in his hand, invited Zhao Yu to sit down inside, and started to pace back and forth, deep in thought. Seeing this, Zhao Yu didn't disturb him and quietly waited. After a while, Colonel Chu stopped pacing and said, "We should prepare for both possibilities now. First, we must prepare for war with all our strength, setting up numerous defenses near the wormhole and increasing the production of all types of warships. Second, we need to plan for a possible defeat in advance. We need to figure out how and where to retreat ahead of time." Seeing Zhao Yu remain silent, he continued, "Considering the speed of Level 2 civilization spaceships, even if a Level 3 civilization could reach light speed, it would still take at least 4 years to reach our solar system. So, under normal circumstances, they would also have to come through the wormhole. We just need to set up a laser defense system and a large number of attack facilities near the wormhole. This way, as soon as the enemy fleet appears, we can completely annihilate them. Regarding the war, let me discuss it further with other advisors, and then give you a feasible plan." Colonel Chu paused, then said, "As for the plan to retreat if defeated, I do have some thoughts. To prevent the extinction of human civilization, we could select a group of people, not many, just 1,000,000, to leave the solar system in spaceships in advance. The rest can be settled on the Bell Comet." Colonel Chu quickly took out the star map he hadn't returned yet, quickly pulling the image to the outer edge of the solar system. The Bell Comet is currently outside Neptune's orbit, 16 billion kilometers from the wormhole. According to the rule that a large mass object can cover the gravitational wave of a smaller mass object, we can let the remaining humans take a spaceship and stop at the Bell Comet. In case of defeat, we can quickly arrange for the people on the Bell Comet to retreat. Zhao Yu looked at the star map. The Bell Comet's current position was just on the other side of the Sun. Judging from the length, the distance from the Bell Comet to the Sun was not much different from the distance from the wormhole to the Sun. If the enemy comes out of the wormhole, their primary target would surely be the Earth. Even if some were persistent and wanted to check every celestial body in the solar system for humans, it would take more than 50 days to reach the Bell Comet from the wormhole. With this buffer time, the humans on the Bell Comet could comfortably escape. Zhao Yu's eyes gradually brightened. After Colonel Chu's explanation, he suddenly realized that although the system gave him 3 options, it didn't mean he could only do one thing. He could completely transfer all people to the Bell Comet first, then continue to defend the Earth and engage the enemy. If they win, everyone would be delighted. If they lose, the people on the Bell Comet would have plenty of time to escape the solar system. These 2 preparations are quite good. Zhao Yu nodded satisfactorily. "Advisor Chu, please prepare a detailed plan as soon as possible, so we can start preparations early." Leaving the command building, Zhao Yu felt relieved. This time he didn't hesitate and directly chose the 3rd option. In this way, even if the war failed, he could switch to the 2nd option, leading all humans to escape. But this option isn't ideal after all. The solar system is 4 light-years away from the Alpha Centauri system. After leaving the core area, there is a vast empty space in between, with almost no useful resources except cosmic dust. This means that the resources they carry will eventually run out. It might not take 359 years, and humans could be trapped and starve on the spaceship. Choice completed. Obtain title. King of War. King of War. Destroy any hostile military units to gain extra tech points. The way to get tech points from the King of War title is quite broad. I can get tech points for destroying any military units with hostility. Zhao Yu was somewhat delighted. I just don't know how many tech points one can get for destroying a warship. 950 light-years away, a giant black hole was continuously spewing out spaceships. In just the time it takes to finish a cup of tea, over 1,000,000 warships lined up outside the black hole. This was the Great Whale Legion sent by the Madu civilization to the solar system. Naturally, they didn't need such a big move just to check if there was civilization in the solar system. The main reason the Madu civilization sent so many warships was that they wanted to be opportunistic. 2 stars exploded, and within this 1,000 light-years range, Level 2 civilizations would definitely send fleets to investigate. All they needed to do was follow these fleets and trace back to their civilization's origin. On the leading command ship, a man with a human head and an octopus body ordered, "Notify everyone to follow my previous instructions. All legions should go and lurk in their respective galaxy. Without my order, No one is allowed to act or expose themselves. Also, tell all legions that for this wormhole travel, we will activate the acceleration mode. We must be the first to arrive. In the star system belonging to the Fire Fury civilization, warships are being adjusted at the spaceport, doing the final preparations for takeoff. Two humanoid creatures, looking like half-transformed pig demons with pig noses and large ears, are conversing at the top of the port. Our strategic team has carefully analyzed it. The civilization in the target star system has probably been destroyed. The taller, slender man confidently said, because if they were a level 2 civilization, they wouldn't have let an invading fleet destroy their 2 planets so easily. The burly man was a bit puzzled. Then why are we going there? Naturally, it's for other civilizations. The tall man laughed. The explosion of 2 stars, the resulting ripples in space-time can reach 1,000 light-years away. There are definitely other civilizations within this range who have also sent fleets to check out the situation. What we have to do is find the home stars of these fleets and destroy them. We are 125 light-years away from the target star system, which is relatively close. If we travel through a wormhole now, we can get there in about a month, and we should be the first civilization to arrive. After we get there, you guys need to lurk first, find opportunities to put trackers on the other fleet's spaceships. Also, you need to be careful not to get marked by other fleets. The burly man laughed, unconcerned. Even if we get marked, what's the big deal? With our Fire Fury civilization's strength, whoever comes, dies. The tall man frowned. We can't take this lightly. If we get marked by a level 2 civilization, it's fine. We won't be afraid. But what if it's a level 3 civilization? The burly man laughed. Flo, is that possible? According to the principle of cosmic expansion, the outermost areas are less likely to give birth to advanced civilizations. If there is a level 3 civilization, it's definitely closer to the galactic center. The tall man sighed helplessly. That's not what the theory means. You misunderstood. It doesn't matter if the meaning is a little different. Hasn't the fact that we haven't encountered a level 3 civilization in all these years proven something? The burly man laughed. Besides, didn't our national master say that our current level of technology has reached the peak of this star field? If we want to break through further, we can only migrate to the second spiral arm. What the national master said isn't exactly that. He said under equal intelligence, this star field is our limit. What if there is a smarter species? The tall man shook his head. Anyway, be careful when you go there. Don't lead them back to our home star. The burly man waved his hand. No. If we encounter a level 3 civilization, I won't come back. I'll self-destruct. Just then, someone came over and saluted. Captain, the fleet has been checked and there are no issues, ready to depart at any time. Then let's go. Let's get there early and secure a good position. Like the Fire Fury civilization, many level 2 civilizations believe that the native civilization of the solar system has already been destroyed. Their journey near the solar system this time is not for the natives, but for the other civilizations heading the same way. This is like a grand confrontation between multiple civilizations, all using the solar system as their battlefield. Each civilization has confidence in their victory, as each species within these civilizations has its unique advantages, standing out among countless others. Of 8 level 2 civilizations, only 2 that have just reached level 2 did not send fleets. The other 6 civilizations, all in the mid to late phase of level 2, sent their fleets. Their goal this time is not the native civilization of the solar system, which they think has been destroyed. Instead, they are each other's hunters and prey. The winner is who can outlast the others. 950 light-years from the solar system is the Madu civilization. The Great Whale Legion is assigning people to calculate the wormhole routes. Report, the target star system has only 2 ports, one far and one near. The far port is 650 light-years away from us. The near port is 945 light-years from us and 5 light-years from the target star system. The octopus-headed army commander nodded slightly, saying, the 10th Army Corps will guard the far port. The other corps will follow me to the near one. Most civilizations will not rashly enter the solar system, but will observe from nearby galaxy systems. Therefore, the probability of encountering other civilizations' fleets is higher at the near port. Nevertheless, The Whale Army Corps did not ignore the far port and sent an Army Corps there. They speculate that the fleet that destroyed the solar system must have arrived via wormhole. If they return the same way, they will be caught. Report, the route is ready. The nearest route passes through 9 wormholes, and we are expected to arrive in about 10 days. Wormhole travel is like navigating a tumultuous river. Any creature that can't swim must rely on a vehicle to cross. Level 2 civilizations have only just managed to manufacture a device that can traverse the wormhole. A Level 3 civilization like the Madu can accelerate through the wormhole. It's like giving a boat that could only drift downstream a propeller, greatly reducing the time needed to travel through the wormhole. So, among many civilizations, although the Madu civilization seems to be the furthest from the solar system, they can arrive first, 69 light-years from the solar system. The Manhwa civilization is still at a Level 1 technological level. They have equipment to detect gravitational waves but cannot observe neutrinos. In their understanding, the universe is lonely, and only the Manhwa civilization exists within a range of billions of light-years. The Manhwa people's exploration of the universe is limitless, and they have been continuously sending out electromagnetic signals into the universe. Sadly, after all these years, they have received no response. The universe is too vast. With the Manhwa civilization as the center, signals sent outward are dense near the center but become sparse as they move further out. The 2 signals that were close at the center will become very far apart with increasing distance, making it less likely for other civilizations to discover these signals. One day, a news report in the Manhwa civilization broke the usual peace and tranquility of the entire Millet star system. According to our astronomical center, 2 planets have exploded at the same time in a star system 69 light-years away from us. Based on the analysis of our scientists, there is a 99.5% chance that this explosion was caused by intelligent beings. This means that our Millet civilization is not alone. There is another human civilization just 69 light-years away. As the news spread, all the humans on the 9 planets of the Manhwa star system were stunned. I can't believe I've lived to hear news of aliens. Hurry, send them a message. Tell them our Manhwa civilization is here. But even if we send a message, it will take 69 years to reach them, and another 69 years to receive a reply. I'm afraid we won't see the results in our lifetime. Those born after 2000 might have a chance to see it. In 138 years, the newborns might be old enough to see the aliens' response. I wish one was born after 2000. Maybe when the aliens arrive, they could break through the telomere structure that limits our lifespan. I might get to live another life. Wait, haven't you thought about why the 2 planets in that star system exploded? Isn't that a serious enough problem? The people of the Manhwa civilization didn't know that while they were discussing this, far away in the solar system, the progress bar on Zhao Yu's reputation system had shot up significantly. Number of civilizations currently opening the Prestige progress bar, 22. Prestige, 300. Current technology available for exchange, none. Madu civilization, level 3 0.0000001%. Glen civilization, level 2 0.0000001%. Fire Fury civilization, level 2 0.0000001%. Manhwa civilization, level 1 3.3%, 1% node activated, gained 100 prestige. Boat Paper civilization, level 1 2.6%, 1% node activated, gained 100 prestige. Skybat civilization, level 1 4.5%, 1% node activated, gained 100 prestige. What surprised Zhao Yu was that the first to activate the prestige nodes were 3 level 1 civilizations. In total, they provided him with 300 prestige points. Unfortunately, 300 prestige still didn't have any technologies available for exchange. Next to him, Colonel Chu, who was discussing the war plan, noticed that Zhao Yu seemed lost in thought and paused. Zhao Yu came back to himself and asked, "Where were you in the explanation?" "I was discussing the range of the gravitational waves." Colonel Chu continued, "One used the gravitational wave detector to observe the nearest neighboring star system and found that objects with a diameter less than 50 kilometers are basically invisible. This means, even if an alien fleet goes to a nearby star system, they can only see objects in the solar system with a diameter larger than 50 kilometers. Our motherships are larger than 50 kilometers. I suggest we hide all the motherships on natural celestial bodies and avoid exposing them early on. Zhao Yu nodded. In the base, besides the motherships, all other battleships were less than 50 kilometers long and thus not within the enemy's detection range. Next, we can set up a laser defense system outside the wormhole. Any fleet that comes through the wormhole can be intercepted here. We can build several sets of such laser systems around the wormhole, at least 9 sets, to ensure that each civilization's fleet can receive our welcome service. We can place a backup laser defense system 1,000,000 kilometers away to prevent a desperate enemy from destroying all of our defensive facilities with a suicide attack. Our laser defense system has a maximum effective range of 300,000 kilometers and a minimum effective range of 30,000 kilometers, which is much less than the range of a particle singularity collapse bomb. So, each set of laser defense system is essentially disposable. One-time usage. It takes 25 days to travel from here to the wormhole. The round-trip time is too long. My suggestion is to set up a new military base on the debris from Pluto's explosion near the wormhole for the production of base points and other defense facilities. Colonel Chu's explanation was comprehensive and detailed, covering preparation for war, combat, and escape after defeat. After listening, Zhao Yu was very satisfied. He asked a few more details to make sure he couldn't come up with a better plan than the staff. He accepted all of Colonel Chu's suggestions and started to execute them. Soon, the plan was put into action. The first to move were the tens of thousands of transport ships carrying 8 billion people from Earth. They were escorted by 10,000 various types of warships towards the Bell Comet. Among them, the mothership carrying the system's base also left with the fleet. They were estimated to arrive in about 28 days. Then, Zhao Yu built a large number of engineering ships. Together with the 200,000 warships originally stationed at the Mars defense line and the existing 100,000 various functional warships, they headed towards the wormhole. The wormhole was too far from the moon, and it took 13 hours for a round trip of light signal transmission, which made command inconvenient. After careful consideration, Zhao Yu decided to go in person. He brought along with him Colonel Chu and the advisory team, as well as some absolutely loyal robots. Also, he moved Uncle Da's mainframe to a mothership, temporarily leaving it at the lunar base to maintain the production lines. Uncle Da, if we lose the battle at the front line, one will escape to the Bell Comet by a shuttle ship. At that time, you should abandon this base and meet me at the Bell Comet. Okay. Looking at the familiar environment under his feet, Uncle Da was a bit melancholy. Strictly speaking, the lunar base was his birthplace, and he had spent 6 years here since his birth. The possibility of leaving in the future made him a little reluctant. After saying goodbye to Uncle Da, Zhao Yu took a last look at the now deserted moon. Wasn't this his home too? But now with enemies at the doorstep, even if he loved his home, he had to go out and fight. Shaking his head, Zhao Yu firmly boarded the command ship. Before he could feel melancholic, Colonel Chu came up to him. The only unknown now is the mechanism of wormhole travel. We don't know when the alien fleet will arrive. If they arrive before the wormhole defense line is completed, we might have to retreat and fight as we did with the Moro fleet. Even if a wormhole can traverse space-time, it should take some time, right? Zhao Yu was very clear that 6 years ago, the system had hinted that the Moro fleet was coming. He wondered, was it possible that the Moro fleet had entered the wormhole for travel 6 years ago? If that was the case, they still had plenty of time, enough to set up a huge trap, waiting for the arrival of the enemy. 10 days later, in the neighboring star system, the colossal Great Whale Legion emerged from the wormhole. We finally made it. The Legion leader stretched his body. He hadn't stayed in the wormhole for such a long time in a while. Soon, one of his subordinates handed over a detailed star map of the nearby star fields. Report, the star map of the nearby star fields has been mapped. The Legion leader carefully examined the map after receiving it. The target star system was just 4 light-years away. The star system life expectancy was approximately 5 billion years, and there were 6 existing planets, one of which had a strange shape, as if half of it had been blown away. Commander Dugo, Should we send a fleet to take a look? The deputy officer asked cautiously. No need. Dugo shook his head. We are here to be hunters, not garbage collectors. We don't need to go to a civilization that has been destroyed. Just let people activate the supergravity detector to check the situation inside their star system. After that, he added, I see there are 10 star systems within 10 light years of this target star system. Let the 5th Corps go and search the other 9 star systems. If anything happens, contact us via quantum interface. Quantum interface, a method of communication in the quantum world level, and then decrypting the information back in the normal world. It can truly transcend the speed of light to transmit information. Even if they are 950 light years away from their home star now, they can quickly transmit it back via quantum interface. Of course, each activation of the quantum interface is not cheap, so it's usually only used for important intelligence. Just then, a subordinate rushed over to report. Commander Dugo, supergravity detection shows that there are a large number of moving ships inside the target star system. Dugo was taken aback, retaking the star map and studying it closely. Within the solar system, hundreds of thousands of spacecraft were traversing the cosmic space. Could it be the Hunter fleet hasn't left? No, it's been 10 days since the 2-star explosion. They couldn't possibly still be here. Dugo pondered for a moment. A level 2 civilization capable of traversing wormholes would surely know that a 2-star explosion could cause gravitational waves to resonate in other galaxies. In this case, they would certainly evacuate at the first sign of danger to prevent getting trapped here. So, these spacecraft, are they from a native civilization? The adjutant looked perplexed. Commander, if these spaceships belong to a native civilization, how could they have had 2 of their planets destroyed by the Hunter fleet? Under normal circumstances, a level 2 civilization would be capable of fortifying an entire galaxy. Unless this civilization had just advanced to level 2, but a newly advanced level 2 civilization. How could it resist the Hunter fleet? Those who could venture out of their home galaxy to hunt in the universe would have to possess technology like particle black hole transformations and wormhole travel. With this level of technology, even the most rudimentary level 2 civilizations would easily defeat a newly advanced one. Very peculiar. Dugo shook his head, saying, maybe. This newly advanced level 2 civilization encountered a crippled Hunter fleet, and both sides engaged in a tug of war. Seeing no hope of victory, the Hunter fleet destroyed 2 planets, attracting other civilizations. It's the only plausible explanation. The adjutant nodded, asking, Commander, shall we send troops to obliterate this civilization? No need. Dugo shook his head. This native civilization has already revealed itself. We can wipe them out anytime. What's important now is to mark the fleets of other civilizations, follow the trail to find their home galaxies. He could see clearly the 2-star explosion would undoubtedly attract a multitude of civilizations to send their fleets. These were the real targets of their mission. Given the time it takes for a level 2 civilization to travel through wormholes, they could reach 1,000 light years in a maximum of IO months. We'll just patiently wait during this time. Although he was surprised that the native civilization had survived, Dugo didn't care. As long as their objective could be achieved, that was all that mattered. Send out orders, set up detection equipment that won't reveal our whereabouts. Everyone, hide in the nearest planet. No one should take action without my command. Soon, after deploying a bunch of disguise detectors, the Great Whale Legion quickly disappeared into the planets. A large number of spaceships have appeared in the neighboring star system. At the command ship in the solar system, Colonel Chu looked anxious as he reported the situation to Zhao Yu. The gravitational wave detector showed a dense swarm of spaceships wandering around the neighboring star system, a frightening sight. They're here. Zhao Yu's heart clenched, and he quickly asked, how fast are these spaceships? Can we determine what level of civilization they belong to? Colonel Chu looked bitter. Their speed surpasses our spaceships. The fastest one is more than 10 times faster. Level 3 civilization? Zhao Yu was shocked. He didn't expect the level 3 civilization to arrive so quickly. What to do? As the two were discussing, most of the spaceships in the detector entered a planet, disappearing from the screen. Huh. Zhao Yu looked surprised, a bit puzzled. What are they doing entering the planet? I don't know. Could there also be intelligent civilizations in the neighboring star system?
Colonel Chuge said.
Zhao Yu shook his head, immediately calling the mainframe of the command ship, ordering, "Have the fleet hold position for now." Soon, the fleet halted in the void. Zhao Yu and the staff were all glued to the screen, not daring to blink. In addition, they had 2 gravitational wave detectors constantly aimed at the wormhole's location to see if the enemy had come through. To their surprise, the next scene left everyone even more baffled. On the screen, millions of spaceships in the neighboring star system, after wandering around, all disappeared into one of the planets, completely vanishing from sight. Could the wormhole be inside the planet? Colonel Chu asked nervously. He was worried that the enemy had begun to travel through, entering the solar system. Not possible. Zhao Yu shook his head. According to relevant theories, wormholes only appear in independent cosmic spaces. They can't be inside planets. Although he couldn't exchange wormhole-related technology right now, he was already aware of some basic information. What are they trying to do? Colonel Chu was stunned for a moment, then quickly thought of something and said, "You said before, the space-time ripples caused by the explosion of 2 stars spread to a range of 1,000 light-years. Could this level 3 civilization be waiting for other level 2 civilizations who come to observe the solar system and then destroy them? If I were a level 3 civilization, knowing there's activity in the solar system, I would definitely come to check it out and think that other civilizations would also send fleets. What I need to do then is get here first, then hide. And when other level 2 civilizations arrive, mark them one by one, follow them back to their home star." This wasn't hard to analyze, and basically every civilization could figure it out. However, the fleets that still dared to come were obviously confident, thinking they had the ability to be the hunters, not the prey. Zhao Yu's breath hitched. If that's the case, after all the capable civilizations have arrived, they would destroy us, right?
No.
Colonel Chu shook his head. The level 3 civilization has sent millions of warships here, certainly not to destroy a few fleets. Most likely they're to trace the home star systems behind these fleets. So, before successfully marking the fleets of other civilizations and following them to their home star systems, the level 3 civilization will likely continue to hide. They must have also discovered us, but haven't made a move, indicating they don't care about us, thinking that with our home star system exposed, we can't escape. Saying this, Colonel Chu paused for a moment, turned to look at Zhao Yu, and asked, "How long until we have the technology to travel through wormholes?" "I don't know." Zhao Yu shook his head. His title of mysterious merchant was almost unusable now. He could only rely on the new title of King of War to destroy enemy military units to get technology points. But exactly how many, he didn't know. Another way to get technology was through the reputation system, but now, although he had 300 points of reputation, there were still no available technologies to exchange, and he didn't know how many points would be needed for that. Without wormhole traversal technology, we can't escape far. Colonel Chu was somewhat dejected, originally thinking that level 2 civilizations would arrive, giving them a chance to fight. But now, it was a level 3 civilization that had arrived. This meant that even if they won against the fleets sent by other level 2 civilizations, they were still doomed. Seeing that his staff were all somewhat downcast, Zhao Yu encouraged them, "If we can delay for a longer time, maybe the technology of the Panga civilization could be transferred here. By then, we might also have weapons of level 3 civilization level." 20 days later, a fleet of 10,000 warships appeared from the Proxima Centauri galaxy's wormhole. Alert! As soon as the fleet arrived, they activated their energy shield at full power. Fortunately, there was no movement around them. They weren't attacked. Good. It seems we are the first to arrive. Chris scanned the area, looking at the empty universe with a smile on his face. Then, the gravitational wave detector was activated, scanning the entire Proxima Centauri galaxy. There was no other spaceship-like object besides them. However, he didn't let his guard down and quickly said, "Let the reconnaissance team spread out and search every planet." As expected, they found nothing. With their level of technology, it was hard to detect the Great Whale Legion, who had hidden ahead of time. Chris was satisfied. He issued the same command as Dugo, letting the whole fleet hide near a planet. The universe fell silent again. What they didn't know was, when their fleet was hiding, the Great Whale Legion had secretly marked their spaceships. A month later, another fleet appeared in the Proxima Centauri galaxy. Like the early arriving Great Whale Fleet and Fire Fleet, thinking their fleet was the first to arrive, they also did not directly invade the solar system, instead choosing to hide. The tiny Proxima Centauri galaxy was simultaneously hiding 3 fleets from different civilizations. Haha, this fleet thinks they're the first to arrive. They've also hidden on this planet. Chris was in the newly constructed underground hideout, laughing endlessly. Little did they know, not far from their hideout, the members of the Great Whale Fleet were also laughing at them. Time trickled by. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. In the solar system, 2 million kilometers away from the wormhole, there was a military base built on the fragments of Pluto. Zhao Yu was lying on a couch, bored, asking, how many groups now? He had been near the wormhole for more than half a year. At first, he was very nervous, worried about being destroyed. Who knew? All these days, there had been no fleets coming in. He felt somewhat idle. Including the level 3 civilization, 7 fleets have entered Proxima Centauri. Judging by their arrival times, they didn't come together. Colonel Chu said with a smile, his demeanor much more relaxed than before. After more than half a year of development, they now had enough confidence to handle any attacks from level 2 civilizations. Moreover, during this time, they had figured out how to delay level 3 civilizations from targeting them. After Pluto exploded, millions of meteorites formed, most of which were transformed by Zhao Yu into military bases. Countless warships were produced, even 20 sets of laser defense systems were established. This ensured that a second set could quickly replace any destroyed system. Beep, beep, beep. At that moment, the base's alarm sounded. The 2 men quickly stood up and entered the command center. Inside, several staff officers were standing in front of the equipment with serious faces. Seeing them enter, they quickly approached. We have a situation. A fleet has emerged from Proxima Centauri. Zhao Yu turned to look at the screen. Sure enough, in the formerly empty universe of the neighboring star system, not too far away, some larger warships had appeared. The distance between each warship was significant. There must be many small warships in between that they couldn't see. Are they finally taking action? Zhao Yu perked up. After preparing for more than half a year, their plan was finally about to start. Proxima Centauri Galaxy. Damn, our civilization isn't the last one to arrive, is it? On a command ship, an intelligent life form muttered. It's been so long since the 2-star explosion. There's been no movement. What if we're the only civilization within 1,000 light-years that dares to come here? It's possible, but I tend to believe that fleets have already entered and are waiting for us. Captain Kote, why don't we send a squad to check it out? The advisors turned their heads, looking at the man at the forefront. Kote stroked his beard and nodded slightly. Let's send a squad to check the situation. Soon, a squad of 10 warships left the main force, arrived near the wormhole, activated it, and passed through in an instant. What are they doing? Zhao Yu was a bit puzzled. Over at Proxima Centauri, the fleet that left the planet was circling around a certain area, unclear about what they were doing. Commander, that should be Proxima Centauri's wormhole. They are likely constructing military fortifications around the wormhole. Colonel Chu, having heard the robot's way of addressing Zhao Yu, had gradually started to do the same. Suddenly, he thought of a possibility and quickly said, could they have sent a spaceship over? Possibly. Note down the time. Let's see how long it takes to cross 4 light-years through a wormhole. Zhao Yu nodded slightly. These days, 7 fleets had arrived at Proxima Centauri, each time appearing in the same place. Therefore, they had basically pinpointed the location of Proxima Centauri's wormhole. Just as they predicted, a day later, 10 warships appeared within the solar system. Enemy attack. Although this squad came with the idea of scouting, they believed it was highly unlikely that there would be any other civilizations within the solar system. Little did they know, they had walked right into an ambush. From all directions, countless lasers rained down upon them. Hurry! Activate the wormhole. We can't. It's a downward channel right now. We need to wait for the wormhole to disappear before we can activate it again. The energy shields of the 10 warships were pushed to the limit, trying to withstand the onslaught. Unfortunately, there were simply too many lasers, and they were just 1,000 kilometers away from the wormhole, making it impossible to dodge. In no time, the energy shields of the 10 warships were breached. Damn it, explode! Boom! With a dazzling explosion, the scout squad, which had not even been in the solar system for a minute, completely disappeared. Taken along with it was the first set of laser defense systems. Hurry! Install the second set of laser defenses. From the military base 2 million kilometers away, Zhao Yu quickly dispatched an engineering ship to install the second line of defense. In reality, there were more than one line of defense outside the wormhole. Following the advice of the advisors, Zhao Yu had set up 3 layers of defense. The first defense line was 1,000 kilometers away from the wormhole. It was the smallest in range and required few bases, but it was very effective and gave enemies almost no chance to escape. There were only 2 ways out: get killed by the laser beams or self-destruct the alien spacecraft. The second defense line was located 800,000 kilometers from the wormhole. It was a contingency line for when the first wave of enemies entered and self-destructed their ships, making it impossible to replenish the first line in time. The third defense line was 1.5 million kilometers away, which was the last line of defense within the safe distance of the temporary base. If this line was also breached, Zhao Yu and the others would have to consider escaping on their shuttles. It took them approximately 29 hours to traverse the wormhole and arrive in our solar system. Colonel Chu also finished his calculations and said, based on current data, it seems that traveling through a wormhole covers about 0.13 light-years per hour, or 3.3 light-years in a day. Zhao Yu nodded and laughed. In that case, they should learn about the loss of their fleet by tomorrow? Not necessarily. If they had agreed on a return time in advance, they might not know until several days later, or even a week. Colonel Chu also laughed. As of now, all the enemy's movements were within their expectations. If things continued like this, it wouldn't be a problem to delay for several years. By then, the more advanced technology of the Panga civilization should have been transmitted over. It's been 2 days. Why hasn't the scouting team returned yet? Kote was clueless about the dead silence of solar system with the aid of gravitational wave detector. The existence of defensive fortification or a warship wasn't detected. At this distance, the gravitational wave detector could only detect objects with massive size of 50 kilometers in diameter. Naturally, it could not determine the situation clearly if any object is lesser than the 50 kilometers in size. Another 4 days has passed. Kote was getting a little frustrated. He simply again sent out another scouting team. Destroy 1 enemy warship. Reward, 1 technology point. Destroy 1 enemy warship. Reward, 1 technology point. With 10 notifications sounded in a row, Zhao Yu was smiling for the outcome. A destroyed warship providing 1 technology point was indeed a good return. As long as they destroyed enough warships, they might be able to develop their civilization to the next level soon enough. The only concern was the fleet of the 6th level. 2 civilizations hiding in the neighboring galaxy system was not enough scale. While Zhao Yu was happily receiving the technology points, the second laser defense system in the base had been successfully reinstalled at the same time. In just half a day's time, the setup was completed. A week later, near the wormhole of the neighboring star system. What exactly is on the other side of the wormhole? How come 2 of our scouting teams still not back yet? Kote frowned and questioned the strategists. Captain, is it possible that another fleet set up a trap on the wormhole? Or perhaps the 2-star explosion was a trap from the beginning to attract us? Kote reconsidered their words and said, let's assume that there is a trap on the other side of the wormhole. Do you have a solution?
Yes.
We can send a battleship to conduct self-destruction for wiping out any trap within 500,000 kilometers to clear a path for us. The suicide squad should be sent with a time interval of 10 minutes ahead of the main force. With only 10 minutes gap, the enemy will have insufficient time to set up another new trap. At this moment, someone else interrupted. There's no need to risk the main force. We can send a small team to check on the situation. No matter what happens, one of the battleships must be back quickly to report the situation. Kote nodded slightly as he though it was a great idea. After discussing the details with the others, he gave the order for one warship to go first. Then, other team of 30 warships would pass through the wormhole in 10 minutes. Destroy 10 enemy battleships. Reward, 10 technology points. The second wave of enemies arrived only a few days later. Along with the self-destruction, the second laser defense system that Zhao Yu had set up was also taken away as planned. The enemy should be sending warships to clear the traps. Colonel Chu said confidently, after clearance, there should be another team following closely behind. We can quickly surround them with the stationary 88th Fleet at 500,000 kilometers away.
Yes.
Zhao Yu nodded. Colonel Chu's predictions were correct by far. Whether the third wave of enemies was as he said, he would have to see for himself. However, are you sure you don't need to install the third laser defense system? Rest assured, the third wave of battleships will definitely be battleships that clear the traps. Therefore, we only need to place a few dozen battleships near the wormhole. The wormhole laser defense system cost 50 million Blue Moon dollar. This amount of money could be used to build 5,000 warships. If the work could be done by dozens of warships, expenditure on the laser defense system should be spare. In case Colonel Chu's prediction was wrong, they have already prepared another 2 layers of defense. The enemy would not be able to leave this place. There was still room for redemption. With Colonel Chu and the others supervise the situation at the front line, Zhao Yu returned to his room to await the next coming event. Zhao Yu opened a message titled about Bell Comet from Uncle Da. Commander, 8 billion humans are divided into 10,000 transport ships. On average, each transport ship has 800,000 people. Right now, there are fights happening on every transport ship. The total number of casualties has exceeded 100,000. The temporary establishment prison can't hold them anymore. Senator Zhou requested some entertainment for the young people to deplete their energy. Zhao Yu was speechless when he saw this message. Humans are really an energetic race. Although these 8 billion people had left their homes and gone to Bell Comet, they had brought along sufficient supplies that were enough for them to survive for 50 years. In the end, there were still people who couldn't stay idle. There were always conflict every day due to jealousy. Other than that, hatred between people break out at the same time. Described by Uncle Da, the identities of the attacker and the victim used to have a superior-subordinate relationship or a teacher-student relationship back on Earth. On Earth, everyone had a different social background, resulting in different behavior and logic. If there was a conflict between them, the weaker party always belongs to the disadvantaged side. However, on Bell Comet, everyone lived in a small cubicle. The food they received every day and the activity area were the same. Without the existence of privileges, the money-power relationship instantly changed into a relationship of strength. Whoever had the stronger psychical strength will become the winner. Although there were robots intervene the conflict, yet they were not allowed to physically harm the human. This allowed those humans who were familiar with it begin to construct a new social reorganization. Zhao Yu thought for a moment and recorded, what about the virtual reality technology used by the military team to learn how to operate a spaceship? Based on that technology on creating a virtual reality game. Make more of this equipment and give them a set each. The content of the game can be divided into beginner, intermediate, and professional according to the level of piloting the spaceship. Different levels of achievement will unlock different function. Only an advanced player can completely unlock the game's functions. In this way, we are able to train more pilot plus consume their energy. It's best to add mechanism of level. According to their piloting skill, they'll be given a rank. Those achieved high ranking will be rewarded. Zhao Yu stroked his chin and said, there are some conservative executives on Bell Comet. They're good at these things, so we can let them participate in the design. After thinking about it, Zhao Yu felt that the game reward was amazing. He also suggested to reward the achiever in real life when you get a beginner's, intermediates, and advanced trophy. Zhao Yu paused once again. He realized he might need to do it himself as Uncle Da couldn't understand. After thinking for a moment, he continued, there aren't many entertainment facilities on the spaceship. You can rebuild some transport ships and make some swimming pools or other types of entertainment. The level of the ranker defined their accessibility of the entertainment. The game reward set is Blue Moon Dollar. To enter the entertainment boat, Blue Moon Dollar is necessary. In addition, the medical system could also be released. Those with a basic beginner achievement can access the hospital ship with additional one person along, and full-body healthcare service could be traded with Blue Moon Dollar. Mark a price for each disease, and it must be affordable. The medical machine developed a year ago could cure almost all diseases across human history, but before it could be released, a series of events delayed the service to the public. Other than some critically ill patients who enjoyed medical assistance, ordinary people did not know about this thing. Now, he could use it as a bonus. People could earn Blue Moon Dollar from the game and spend on the medical machine to treat any hidden diseases. According to the instructions, almost all human beings who have been treated by medical machines can live to the end of their lives. When it is popularized, the average age of human beings can be directly increased by a quarter, reaching 100 years old. Zhao Yu thought for a while and said, if it's a deadly illness, we can treat it first, and the cost will be settled in installments after the person is fully recovered. Zhao Yu had been reading management books recently. He knew very well that payment is necessary. When it came to medical treatment, it was either none or all. It was also not acceptable to act on emotions by not requiring payment based on pitying some portion of people. It was even more unacceptable to benefit mankind unconditionally. If they were to fight for equality, they would become enemies. With time passed, they would nurture a deformed society. Many management books mentioned a key point. To manage a civilization well, the most important thing was to have order and a certain degree of rewards and punishments. There was a story about Zigong, a student of Confucius, who had done a good deed but had refused the state's compensation. However, Confucius felt that Zigong has did it wrongly. With Zigong's reputation increase, other ordinary people who heard about the story will find it difficult to imitate him and do good deeds. This was equivalent to raising the moral standards to a level beyond most people could achieve. In the end, people would have no motivation to do good. As a result, a normal thing that could be done by everyone became only a few people could do. In the past half a year, nothing good had come out of Bell Comet. Zhao Yu was tired of hearing about it, so he decided to settle the problem once and for all. It just so happened that after half a year of modification, the Earth was already established new order. When the war was over, the humans who had adapted to the rules on the spaceship would be transferred back to the Earth, and they would be able to walk seamlessly. Zhao Yu recounted everything he had learned during this period of time. He stopped recording until his mouth was dry. He packed them together and sent them back to the moon. The gravitational waves near the wormhole are abnormal. A warship must be coming through. Zhao Yu was reading a book when he suddenly received a message and rushed to the command center. On the screen, the gravitational fluctuations near the wormhole began to expand. It's amazing. We know that gravitational waves only appear on celestial bodies with mass, but when wormholes appear, they also bring their own gravitational waves. After the transmigration, the gravitational waves disappear again. Colonel Chu clicked his tongue in wonder. He didn't seem nervous at all. Zhao Yu was affected by this and felt much more relaxed.
Chuadé.
After a while, the gravitational wave changed, and a curve that obviously looked like a warship appeared. When the two were about to say something, the warship disappeared in an instant. The gravitational waves instantly became chaotic and spread in all directions. Zhao Yu and Colonel Chu looked at each other. This familiar fluctuation was undoubtedly the result of the starship activating the particle singularity collapse bomb. It has indeed exploded. Zhao Yu glanced at Colonel Chu, only to find that he was still staring at the area 500,000 kilometers away, waiting for the aftershock to end. Seeing this, he remained silent. Soon after the aftershock was over, Colonel Chu hurriedly said, "It's now. We can send the fleet out?" Zhao Yu quickly sent down his order. The 88th Fleet, which was waiting 500,000 kilometers away, flew toward the wormhole at full speed. In less than 3 minutes, the 88th Fleet had arrived near the wormhole and surrounded it. In another 7 minutes later, the wormhole's gravitational waves spread again. It's really here. Zhao Yu was surprised that Colonel Chu's prediction was so accurate. The enemy really took this offensive method. A moment later, more than 30 battleships appeared. Before they could react, the 88th Fleet opened fire according to the established procedure. How is this possible? The scouting fleet was completely shocked. Hadn't the trap been cleared? Why are there still enemies? They didn't have time to think. They quickly changed their formation and began to defend and counterattack. Hang in there. We will be able to withdraw until the wormhole recovers. The time taken for the wormhole to recover was only 10 minutes. This was also why Advisor Kota suggested that they teleport at 10-minute intervals. However, Colonel Chu had carefully calculated these 10 minutes to ensure that the 88th Fleet could destroy the enemy before the time was up. There was a fierce battle between the two sides, limited by the attack efficiency and power. The battleships belonging to the 88th Fleet fell quickly, but the enemy was outnumbered. Often, after the enemy destroyed one warship, another would replace it in time. Therefore, the attack was never really stopped. Finally, coming at the 7th minute, 2 of the enemy's 30 warships were left. By now, they realized that they can't escape. It's a pity that we can't tell the captain what happened here. With the appearance of miniature black holes, the war ended, and the star field 500,000 kilometers outside the wormhole was emptied again. The enemy's 30 battleships and the 88th Fleet's thousands of battleships were all destroyed. Colonel Chu smiled slightly and said, "Okay, the third laser defense system can enter the arena." Impressive. Zhao Yu gave him a thumbs up. He had more confidence in his follow-up plan. If this continued, he might really be able to drag it out for 3 to 5 years. Destroy 30 enemy battleships. Reward, 30 technology points. Other than this notification, Zhao Yu was shocked to find that his reputation point had broken through again. Mihue Civilization, Level 1 8.9%, 5% of the nodes activated, 100 reputation points gained. Skybat Civilization, Level 1 9.5%. Activate 5% of the nodes. Gain 2 reputation points. Among the 13 Level 1 civilizations, 6 reputation points suddenly began to soar. After quickly breaking through 5%, they continued to increase. Seeing that he was about to break through RHE 10% point, Zhao Yu glanced at the reputation exchange list and realized that the area that was originally displayed as empty had suddenly become redeemable technology 1.